For the next segment, we have somebody very special with us, somebody who is very close to the organization, and she was a part of the first set of the team members who worked with Rishabh to set up IIMUN in 2011. She has studied in an IB institution and a fancy college, and politics was the last thing that she had in her mind. Today, this reluctant politician has been rated the best municipal corporator in her city and just lost the election of mayor by a few votes. She is a complete story in herself, from a team member inspiring young people to participate as a make-believe politician, from solving crisis to actually solving real life problems as a politician. Today, she's here to tell us what skills she picked up in activities such as IAMUN and her journey to now becoming a successful youth politician, a corporator, a spokesperson, and a National General Secretary of Indian Youth Congress, and most importantly, an IIMUN alumni. For the first time ever, we are inviting someone who has been an internal member of the organization to be a part of the inaugural ceremony in the capacity of a special guest. We are sure that she is grateful not just for this opportunity to address you all, but also to the organization that she has played an important role in. Presenting to you Ms. Rishika Raka. Rishika, over to you.
Hello, everyone.
Hi Rishika, everybody is on mute so they can hear you.
That's okay. That's okay. Don't worry. I've got a hang of how to handle Zoom calls now. I think we all have.
Yes, yes.
Fun. I can see you all. So I know that none of you will be able to speak because you're all on mute. But I would expect some hand gestures to understand whether y'all are really catching up with me or not. Thank you, Rishi, for that great introduction. Guys, I'm nothing like everything that he said. I am just that young girl and boy like you guys sitting here. Very, very excited 8 years ago to be a part of this great organization in the making. In fact, I'm a little overwhelmed today because 8 years back, exactly, or 9, I don't know, I was sitting on Rishi's side planning this whole opening ceremony for the first ever IIMUN conference. And here I am today, invited as a special guest. It's very heart-filling, and I want to give you all a big, big thank you on my behalf. Guys, honestly, it's not been a very long journey. I'm still very, very young, and I have a long way to go. But there are just a few things from what I've learned, which I want to share with you guys. First and foremost, the biggest step that you guys have already taken towards changing the environment is coming and joining this organization today. I cannot begin to lay importance on the fact of how necessary it is for young girls and boys like you guys to come on ground and talk about issues that are actually affecting the entire world. Guys, all I want to tell you is that we all know that the world around us has a lot of problems. And we all know that we're all young, which means we have a lifetime to live ahead of us. So during this whole process, don't you think it's our duty and our role to play an important part in how the world will be tomorrow? And I know you guys think that way because that's the reason you all are a part of IIMUN and you all are making these conferences a success by sharing your thoughts and ideas with everybody. Let me just go back a little bit to my journey and how I, connected with IIMUN. So back in college in the 13th standard, which we call FI of graduation school, I was like any other FI student who you will see. Ekdam Vela, my college was in Churchgate, so loafing around on Marine Drive, eating Naturals ice cream and Raju Chinese and all the yummy things that Mumbai has to offer. Until I came across this organization, until I came across Rishabh, who was giving me an opportunity to play a massive, significant role in the making of IIMUN. We all started working together, but honestly, we were all a bunch of kids who were filled with excitement, but also a lot of musty, but a real passion and zest to be able to make a brand name that will actually resonate in the entire world. And today, that brand name resonates really well in the entire world. You guys are all an audience to that. So, kudos to the entire team of IIMan for that. But a few of my major learnings, and honestly, I mean, any of you guys, if you saw me those many years back, I did not have even a single percent of passion of entering into politics. But what I had in me was a passion to change the world around me. I had a passion to be an high impact person. And I had a passion to be somebody known and famous, which most of us do. And there should not be any apprehension in accepting that fact. So just living with that passion, I was working with IIMan. I have some amazing stories from all these Shamak sessions that you guys see that happen in every opening and closing ceremony of IIMU and around the world. There's a very tiny, small story about how I approached Shamak Davar while sitting in a cafe where we were just sitting and waiting that some or the other celebrity would come here, and I'm going to go up to him and request him to come and become a part of IIMan, because our organization was nothing at that time. And there comes in Shamak Davar with his group of dancers, you know, about 10 to 15 of them. And we were just young kids, totally intimidated, not knowing what to do. And we just randomly went up to him, and I told him that, you know, boss, we're nothing right now, but we would love for you to be a part of our conference. And he agreed. And today it's been an 8-9 year long relationship where Shamak Davar and his team perform and associate with IIMU. And so these things like having the guts, the confidence, the knowledge of what to speak and how to approach someone was something I learned here in this organization, and I'm so thankful to IIMan for that. Moving ahead, around 2017, actually by a show of hands, I want to know how many of you understand what a municipal corporator is. Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Municipal corporator. Guys, I see most thumbs down. Well, you're relatively still a little young, so I'm not going to take you to task for that. But see, this is the, I mean, you know, coming to a very serious topic. This is where our country, our children, our education today is lacking. Guys, a municipal corporator is somebody who you can relate to, like an MLA for a state or an MP for a country, right? For a particular region, there's somebody who represents that region in the parliament. Similarly, a city has a municipal corporation, and for every area in the city, there's a person who is elected who represents that area in the municipal corporation. So it's basically the same concept of an MP in the entire country going to a corporator in the state, or you can even call them councillors. Guys, why this is important to know is because you and I are the future. You and I need to grab these positions to be able to make changes in the society that we want to make, and to be able to build an India for ourselves that we'll be proud of living in tomorrow. So around 2017, guys, I decided to fight my first ever election at the age of 23. I was fighting to be a municipal corporator from my area, which is Bhiwandi, close to Mumbai. I don't know how many of you guys might know. Very, very, very scared. Just a young 23-year-old girl, coming from a semi-orthodox family, but coming from a very, very orthodox communal society, because I'm a Marwadi and Jain by religion. I jumped right in, guys. I went door to door in my ward or my constituency. I visited about 4,000 homes myself. I spoke to each one of them, introduced myself, convinced them to vote for me. And eventually the day came when I had won with the maximum number of votes in my entire city. And I became one of the youngest corporators that the country has ever seen. Guys, this was not just, it's not just luck, it's not just opportunity, it's also about grabbing that opportunity, having that courage, having that confidence, and just going for it. And I just did that. I just went for it. After that, it was, quite a tough journey, coming from, I used to, guys, live in a bubble, and I'm pretty sure most of you are living in that bubble now. Coming from a thankfully God-given, safe and secure family, coming from a decent financial background, coming from, a place where I was getting great education, mostly talking in English, hanging out with, the best of best people, Mumbai and all these places had to offer, and going suddenly down to a situation where the only language I could speak in was Marathi, and the kind of people I was dealing with are probably people you will never want to deal with in your lives. But you got to do what you got to do, right? So I again, like I was saying, I jumped right in. I became a part of the standing committee, which is the main financial head of any corporation. It takes all the financial decisions. I then started my journey in the Youth Congress, which is the most exciting part for me. I started my journey as, in my district of Youth Congress. I worked real hard, moved to the state, and today I'm one of the youngest ever appointed joint secretaries in the Indian Youth Congress, which is actually the largest and oldest youth outfit in the entire country. So this journey, this whole experience brought me to my first ever mayor elections. Guys, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down for who knows what a mayor is. I'll be very disappointed, guys, if you all don't know who a mayor is. Great, I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. So I fought for the mayor election in 2019, December. Again, I was on my journey to be the youngest mayor the country has ever seen at the age of 25 last year. But unfortunately, I was a victim of the typical political conditions that we see. Horse trading, a word that you guys might have heard a lot last year that happened around the country. And that was a big setback per se. I was being interviewed and, spoken to continuously of why didn't I seem upset and why wasn't I unhappy about it. But guys, somebody even here asked me about what do I think about political failures. I feel, guys, to be given an opportunity at the age of 25 to be the official Congress candidate to fight a mayor election was a huge deal. A huge, huge deal. Trust me, I could not believe it till the day I was fighting that mayor election. But what was important was, again, the fact that I circled back to my IIM days. It was when we were approaching Shamak Davar or Subhash Ghai or all the other big people you see on IIM today, back in the first year, they did not know any of us, and we were a zero organization. But we had the confidence, we had the courage, and we had the passion for the organization. And the same thing was running in my mind last year. When I was fighting the mayor election, I was the youngest, I had zero experience, I didn't know how I was going to handle everything if I happened to become the mayor. But again, I had the courage, I had the confidence, and I had the passion to do something good by the city that has given me so much in my 25 years of existence, 26, sorry. But that's the whole point, right? That is the exciting part of being in politics. Guys, I cannot stress enough on the fact that there is so much you need to give back to the country in today's world, because you and I get a lot of bashing for saying this statement, but I always do. Jitne bhi bade log hai na, like talk about our grandparents and our parents, their time is ending. It's our time that's coming now. And it's in our hands of what we want this India and this world to be like. So if we don't take things in our hands, if we don't start making decisions and start finding the power to make those decisions into actual actions, I really don't know what we'll be tomorrow. So it doesn't have to be politics. It does not have to be anything specific, but just try your best to be able to choose a field where you're making a big difference, where you're making the minorities or the 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 weaker section of the society is being taken care of by you, where you're making decisions, where there's equality, where you're being passionate, where you're having the courage to do something different, to do something great. And again, I want to say, guys, I think all those things are already in you because I'm seeing you here today. So that is a big step number one that you all have taken, and kudos to all of you for that. But there's a long way to go. I am in this field. It's a little scary, but I'm also feeling a little alone. So I can't wait for you guys to come join me in politics. I promise to make space for you. I promise to give you a safe environment. But this is something that we need to do. Leadership, governance, judicial, administrative services. These are fields that really require young people to come in, and not just young, but young, educated, intellectual people like you guys. So I want to end this. I don't want to overtalk like all our guests used to overtalk before. I don't want to be one of them. So I want to end this by saying I'm waiting for you guys. I see a lot of questions coming in. I'm happy to answer them. However, looking at all of you guys, I would love to answer a little more about, how can you guys enter politics, or how can you all make a difference to the country instead of addressing political questions, because there are tons of people doing that in the country today. So thank you so much once again. Thank you, IIMan. I owe a whole lot to this organization, and I'm always so happy to come back on this platform and connect with all of you guys. So all the best for the conference upcoming, and I hope to see you guys soon someday. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rishika. If you don't mind, we'll take a couple of questions.
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. If you have any particular, you can pick. Otherwise, I'll just recognize somebody.
No, go for it. I would love to interact. Go for it.
Okay, perfect. So the first question is by delegate representing United Kingdom in G20.
Amazing.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine too. So I had a question for you. So basically, when we talk about women in politics, the first thing that is that you should have family support. But then, since you grown up in a giant family, how difficult was it for you to convince your parents to let you pursue what you wanted to?
Daria, right? Thank you for your question, Daria. You've actually picked a very important point, and not to be bragging, but honestly, guys, almost every day I'm talking about women in politics on some platform and answering such questions. Honestly, I will not disagree. I'm not scared of people judging on the fact, but I was blessed to be born in a family where I got tremendous support. I was blessed to be with the kind of parents that I have, who've given me a lot of free space and freedom to be able to follow my dreams. But I understand that, unfortunately, because of the cultural background that this country has, and because of the thinking that we have, there's been there are a lot of people around us who don't get the same platform. But guys, all I want to tell you is, literally every field for women, and there are a lot of girls here, and you must know this, we live in a much appreciated time. We live in such a tremendously different time than our our mothers and our grandmothers and everybody else. We have been given that free space somewhere or the other, and where we don't, it's upon us to find that. Any field you want to go in, and not just politics, you will have to fight your way through it if you don't have the right kind of support behind you. So what I mean to say is, when you're going out there to change the world, to change the country, to be in public life, to be in governance, to be in leadership, these are things that require the same sort of genes that you will require to fight at a very ground level, to let yourself enter that in the first place. So you will have that already. It's the courage, the confidence, and the passion, the three things that I spoke about in the beginning, that you will have to find in yourself to be able to make your way up there. And you don't have to be following the paths that I did. I went into electoral politics. I'm actually on ground, asking for votes, doing things for people, keeping the civil and social infrastructure of my constituency in place and stuff like that. But there are so many other ways to be able to affect the country through leadership, which could be on an advisory position, which could be through MLC and through the Rajya Sabha, etc., which could just be by being part of political organizations and giving them a different perspective, which they all lack today. And I mean all of them. So that is how women in politics can come in. It does not have to be electoral. It can be absolutely anything else. And it's upon us to find newer ways. There are no set positions and designations in any political organization. There is always so much gray area for you to be able to make your own pathway up there, which I kind of also have. So that is my answer for you, Devya. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rishika. The next question is by the delegate representing Harshvardhan Singla in the newsroom.
Amazing.
Yes.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Your words, I'm fine too. Your words on women in politics were very inspiring. I wanted to ask, as a political leader, what are the few ideas that you would like to put in place and the few changes that you would like to see in the world?
So, thank you again for your question. I think I want to narrow it really down, and I want to speak about my current position and what I'm trying to do in my current position. So, like I was telling you guys, and I'm specifically getting here because most of you don't understand what a municipal corporator does. Basically, my job is to look at the civil, social, and cultural infrastructure of my ward or constituency, which starts from very basic things like water, garbage, sanitation, the basic things that you guys probably have never even thought of. But how do you get water in your houses? How is the garbage disposed? How is the electricity coming and going, etc., etc. When I took up this position, I took it upon me to move beyond these issues and talk about the real issues that need to be changed. And we all know education, healthcare are such gravely important issues that need to be addressed in India right now, and not just my constituency, not just the state we live in. Sorry, all of y'all are from various states, but the entire country and the entire world for that matter. Healthcare and education are such important pointers. And just look at the situation of today, right? In COVID-19, something that has hampered the entire world. What is the one thing that we're scared of? It's not the spreading of the disease. What we're scared of is the fact that we do not have enough healthcare facilities to take care of our people. So if the disease spreads from whatever it's already spreading, it's going to be doomsday, guys. It's going to be so bad. So that's why for me as a leader, even if I look at myself in the future, the main things that I want to look at is education, like I said, it's healthcare, and it's one thing which is taking care of the weaker section of the society, giving them an equal place to be able to represent themselves. And that does not just mean reservations. It means enabling them to be able to stand on their own feet with their own skill sets, with their own talents, and be able to do what they are meant to do in this world. Apart from that, obviously, the biggest thing that I've been working on in the last 3 years of being in politics, guys, is just to be able to find guys like you, bring you guys in politics and give you space to grow. Because I cannot begin to tell you guys how important it is that young people like you come into politics and try to cause a change. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much, Rishika. One place we can definitely come and address people like this is IMUN. So also I really like the point that you mentioned that we should not forget the weaker sections of the society. So completely concur with you on that. I'll just take one last question.
Yes, please.
Okay, so we will have the delegate representing Canada in US.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
I would like to say that, in politics, every woman is not given a chance. Like everyone think that women are weaker. They can't handle political stress. They can't handle people. They can't, वो मेंस के साथ टक्कर और बराबरी पे नहीं चल सकती. And the same thing happens in press and media. They're not given the criminal section. So Is this any incident which has happened with you, or something like this which you have faced?
That's a very interesting question, Kritika. आपने एक बहुत important मुद्दा यहाँ पर उठाया है. And I want to tell you that it's true. It's true. But I think the reason I have not been affected by this is because I have accepted that fact. I have accepted myself. I have accepted my strengths and my weaknesses. So I know the paths I will be great in, and I know the places I will not do great just because of the person I am. To lay it down for you, it's very simple. And a lot of people around me know that, is that I'm a lot more of a mental person compared to a physical person. Plainly, to put it very, very crassly to you, I was always more academic compared to athletic, you know. So I have realized that. And I think I just found my pathway going by that motto. So everything I did within politics also, I would make sure a lot of my brain power was getting involved instead of my physical power. So, you know, instead of going and doing a lot of andolans on street, which you see a lot of politicians do, I would rather think of innovative ways of bringing this up to the right senior guys or senior leadership, so that they're affected and they know that, okay, people on ground are not okay with ABCD issues. So I think that while we talk about all these retrospective and glass ceiling kind of things, I genuinely am a believer that you have to just be someone who thinks out of the box and think of solutions, guys. You know, these problems that we speak about with women, etc., have been happening for thousands of years, and there's no denying that fact. But I just feel if you have so much energy in you, might as well use that energy to find a solution for yourself so you can make your own pathway, instead of being, you know, bogged down by the fact that, oh, I will, for example, my sister is somebody who's studying to be a criminal lawyer, and she keeps visiting a lot of police stations and, you know, all those kind of places where she also faces something like that. Now, another thing that I want to tell you guys is, and all the girls out here, you know, that, you know, because of the way we look, we always have a lot of people staring at us, giving us, you know, there's a lot of eve teasing, etc., happening and stuff like that. I mean, there are two kinds of women there. You want to be somebody who absolutely doesn't care, just be who you are and walk out there. You want to be somebody like me who I would rather not have those eyes on me. So I'm very happy wearing my kurta pajama, which I would have never worn 3 years back, by the way. But I happily just wear that and move on, because I don't have the brain space to entertain these stalkers and unnecessary people and let their eyes affect my brain so much. I would rather just be in that pajama kurta, but be so positive and focused in my mind that I am able to do so many things in my city, in my ward today, which a lot of people have not been able to do. And you guys should come to Bhiwandi to see what this city is, to see how I survive in the first place. But the point you picked up, it's very, very true. Women do not have an equal stand, but I'm thankful to say that I have been fortunate enough to find a place in my party where, you know, I've found the right set of leaders to be my role models and mentors, who I completely trust and who I know are giving me the exact space that I need to grow. So it's important for you guys, in whatever field you are, to find the right godmothers, godfathers, mentors, role model leaders, who will be able to give you that space to grow, the knowledge, the courage, the, you know, the boost. And that is what is important. Everything else, guys, that they say women can't do this and that, I don't know if you guys were reading, but a few weeks back, we saw the news about this one girl. I think she was also Marwadi, or I forget where she came from, but she was a girl from a very, very low financial background who became one of the, you know, aircraft pilots, which is going to Leh Ladakh to join the China-India war right now. So, you know, sky's the limit, guys. All these things that we talk about, glass ceiling, stereotypes, etc., it's all there. But when you're on field, forget about all of that. Just remember what's inside you. That's all that matters.
Thank you so much, Rishika. Completely agree that we should definitely not just see what's on the outside, but what's on the inside is what matters. And instead of just literally moving, we should move our wits together.
Take a screenshot.
And,
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying, the find innovative and creative solutions like you mentioned instead of just doing the andolans. So once again, thank you so much for coming and joining us today and addressing all of us. And it was a pleasure having you with us. And once a part of Ironman, always a part of Ironman.
Always a part of Ironman. Thank you all once again. I wish you all the best for your conference. And I hope to meet you guys someday, somewhere, possibly in the field of politics or even otherwise, but working for the country. Thank you all again. Take care. Thanks, Rishi.
Thank you, Rishika.